So last night, a Pirates player hit the Michael Jordan shrug celebration in front of 40,000 Cubs fans. That was a lot of fun. We have an update on the Tampa Bay Rays, and yes, that includes Wander Franco. Gerrit Cole, he nearly threw a perfect game yesterday against the Blue Jays, and this Nick Castellanos guy, he had another insane game and a glorious bat flip. Now, real quick, I do have to mention that the playoffs actually start today. Fuzzy, it's the middle of September. What do you mean? The Mariners and the Rangers are facing off in a 3-game series, and this is for the season. As you can see, the Rangers and the Mariners are tied for second place in the AL West, so it's playoff baseball, baby. Now, before all of the action and all of the games, I do want to give you guys an update on my beef with Stephen A. Smith. And so yesterday, he told myself and the baseball community to shut the hell up and that ESPN does not care about baseball. 24 hours later, the baseball gods did their thing, and they made him throw a bounce pass in Yankee Stadium on a first pitch. I have never in my life seen karma act so swiftly. The full video of Stephen A. Smith versus myself is going to come out tomorrow, so subscribe so you don't miss it. Now, the first game that we're going to talk about means absolutely nothing. It's the Tigers versus the A's, but I have to show this. It almost doesn't seem real. A glitch in the simulation or something like that. Teams have been showering Miggy with really nice gifts. What did the A's do? They gave Miguel Cabrera, who does not drink alcohol, a $90 bottle of wine. But that's not all. They gave Detroit a free win on a silver platter. I mean, some bad baseball was played by the A's. There was an error in the first, another error to allow a free run in the 5th inning. I mean, come on. There's a balk. What a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day for the A's. And on top of that, Tarek Skubal, he tore them up. He went 7 shutout, only allowed 2 base hits. He racked up 10 punch outs. Over his last 5 starts, he has 44 strikeouts and a 1.41 ERA over 32 innings. I'm telling you, if Casey Mize comes back strong and the Detroit Tigers call up some of their top dogs, the future is coming for the Tigers. Now, speaking of future is coming, we'll talk about the Rays game itself after this crazy news because 20-year-old super prospect Junior Caminero, he is skipping AAA. He's going straight to the big leagues. Now, we're not going to talk about how the Rays got him. They got him in a trade with Cleveland. Sorry, my allergies are really bad right now. Anyways, in 117 games, this dude hit 325. Now, he's probably a slap hitter, right? He's hitting 325. He's got 31 home runs and a 980 OPS. Now, this is me assuming, but this has to mean that Wander Franco is done for the rest of 2023. You can't call it Basabe. I think there's a guy named Tristan Gray and then Caminero from AA. If Wander Franco is coming back, now an update on Wander. Apparently and allegedly, a third accuser came forward, so MLB is not going to do anything until Dominican authorities work on the case. And all of the litigation is processed in the DR. So there's the update on the Rays. They're calling up a super prospect, and Wander, he's probably out for the remainder of the season. Anyways, shifting back to the game from yesterday, Tampa Bay, they really have to win this game. Why? Okay, I'm not going to spoil it just yet, but we're going to skip to the 6th inning. We have a 2-2 ball game. Zach Eflin, he was great. 10 strikeouts over 5 innings. But Joe Adell, he does in fact still exist. A 2-run home run. Honestly, off the bat, I thought that was going to go 480, but it barely got out. The Halos, they were at 4-2. Never mind. Manuel Margot with an RBI double. That made it a 1-run game, and then Isaac Paredes, he tied it right back up. Carlos Estevez, he just didn't have it, and Manuel Margot, he took advantage. The Rays, they walk off the Angels. So now, Tampa Bay, they're instantly going to throw on some Guardians uniforms, and they're going to become Cleveland fans because if Cleveland gets this W over the Orioles, Tampa Bay, they'll be back within a game and a half of first place. Grayson Rodriguez, he looked as locked in as ever. He was straight up blending the Guardians over the first 4 innings. He actually struck out the side in the 4th, but then he ran into some trouble in the 5th. J-Ram had an RBI single. That was the game's first run, and then actually Cleveland went up 2-0, but here comes Heston Kjerstad and the boys. That was a 111 mile per hour single off the bat. He was then pinch ran for, and that started a 2-run rally as the former Cleveland Guardian, Santander, he grounded out, and then Ryan O'Hearn, I mean, he felt left out because we've talked about Ryan O'Hearn every single recap the last few weeks. Now, unfortunately for Baltimore fans, that rally was short-lived. A base with a walk to Ramon. That was followed by a Bo Naylor RBI straight from MLB The Show. Adam Frazier straight up thought he was Willie Mays out there trying to make a basket behind the whatever. What are you doing? Just catch the ball, man. Emmanuel Clase, he struck out 2 for his 42nd save. So Clase, he helps Tampa Bay get to 1.5 game back of first place. And on the same day, they call up Cleveland's former top prospect, Junior Caminero. The guy they got back for Junior Caminero, Tobias Myers, he's not even with Cleveland anymore. He's in Milwaukee. Speaking of the Brewers and Milwaukee, we'll talk about them after this Cubs game because Milwaukee, they can essentially clinch a spot in the playoffs if the Cubs lose this game. Miguel Andujar, he was all of Pittsburgh's offense moments early on. He drove in 2 on a double and then 1 more on a single in the 5th inning. Johan Oviedo, he was sick. He struck out 5 Cubs over 6 shutout. He is a massive human, by the way. He's almost 6'6", 250. He has a 2.2 ERA despite walking 20 guys over his last 32 innings. He's walked 5 hitters in 3 of his last 4 starts. He's been right-handed version of Blake Snell. Dansby Swanson, he got it going for Chicago with an RBI knock. And then Pittsburgh said, that's cute. We're going to score 2 more. G1 Bay, he tripled in 1. And Connor Joe, he made it a 5-run night, which was massive considering Chicago. They immediately scored 3 runs. A Tachman double was followed up by a wild pitch and then a Nico Horner RBI ground out. So now it's 5-4. They need more. Talking about the Pirates, and they got 3 more on 1 swing. Josh Palacios hit the Michael Jordan shrug celebration. He's got 10 home runs, and he's really good defensively, 5 DRS. Swanson, he tried his best to rally the troops with a long home run his 22nd, but David Bednar, he locked back in. He ended the game. Combine that Chicago L with Milwaukee embarrassing the Cardinals in their own stadium. Yeah, the Cubs can pretty much say goodbye to a division crown. Rookie Blake Perkins, he sent one out, and then Milwaukee kept stacking runs off of Miles Michaelis. RBI singles from Sal Frelick, Andrew Monasterio. By the way, Perkins, Frelick, and Monasterio, all rookies. They've also used Joey Weimer, Garrett Mitchell. So many rookies just clutching up for Milwaukee all year long. By the way, Garrett Mitchell's almost healthy and back. These next 2 guys are far from rookies. They're still producing, though. Victor Caratini mashed a 3-run home run, and Wade Miley, he was on top of his game all night long. 7 punchies over 6 shutout. He has a 4 ERA in his career, but a 2.9 ERA in 2 seasons with the Brewers. He needs to stay there forever and finish off his career with the Brew Crew. Milwaukee, they're up 8 games with 9 games left. Now, before we show Gerrit Cole in his perfect game bid, I have to show this Giants versus Dodgers game because maybe for the first time ever, Padres fans are Dodgers fans right now. San Diego didn't even play, but if the Giants lose this game, they will gain a game on the Cubs, as well as I think another team. We'll talk about that in just a second. JD Martinez, he now has 30 home runs. Only to have Jock Peterson sent one out in his former ballpark, and Dodgers fans booed Jock Peterson. So it's 2-2 now, and the only way that Will Smith scores is if Mike Yastrzemski forgets the outs. That'll never happen, right? Oh boy, it happened. LA, they stole the lead on a mental mistake, and there's more of that. Not just 1, but 2 wild pitches from the Giants. They throw themselves out of this game. JD and Chris Taylor, they played it a few more on some RBI singles. The Giants lose again, so the Padres didn't even play yesterday, but because the Cubs, forgot about the Cubs, because the Cubs and the Giants both lost, the Padres gained a half game. They're now 4 games back of a wild card spot. It blows my mind that Gerrit Cole did this back in the day and did not win a Cy Young award. So fast forward to 2023, he's trying to win his first ever Cy Young. Jake Bauers, he helped out the cause. He's been awful the last 2 months, so it's cool to see him with a 3-run home run. This was one of those instances where you just knew you were not going to beat the Yankees because Gerrit Cole was absolutely dialed in. He was pitching angry. He carried a perfect game into the 5th, and then the 6th inning, eventually, Alejandro Kirky ends it. He ruins the perfect game bid. Now, Gerrit Cole did end the threat, and then Aaron Judge, he's trying to overcome a month-long slump. He doubled in DJ LeMahieu for their 5th run. By the way, Aaron Judge, he's only hitting .220 over his last 17 games, but because pitchers are afraid of him, he has 18 walks and a .415 on base percentage in a slump. Garrett, he lowered his ERA to 2.75. He's first in ERA, innings pitched, whip, hits per 9. So shout out to Sonny Gray, Kyle Bradish, Luis Castillo, Framber Valdez. Because of this start, in my opinion, I think that Gerrit Cole just locked up the Cy Young, so it's going to be Blake Snell and Gerrit Cole, at least in my opinion. Nick Castellanos really took his poor performance from 2022 personally, and rightfully so, because he was not good at all, but 2023 has been a different story. He doubled in 2 in the 1st inning, and yes, New York, they instantly tied it up, but Alec Boehm, he countered with a solo home run. He's got 18 home runs and 93 RBIs. Both are easily career highs. Speaking of career highs, after rookie Mark Vientos homered again, he's got 3 over the last 48 hours. Nick Castellanos, he set a new career high in RBIs. That 2-run, 455-foot pimp job gave him 5 RBIs on the night. He has 103 RBIs on the season. He had 101 RBIs back in 2017. He's been top 5 in extra base hits since that point. He's only behind Nolan Arenado, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and J-Ram. That's some pretty sick company. Ozzie Albies is having one of the craziest offensive seasons by a second baseman that we've seen in quite some time. He heard all of those overrated conversations. Now, defensively, he hasn't been as good, but he doubled in Ronald, and then Ozzie scored on a single from Austin Riley. Michael Harris, by the way, Michael Harris has been a top 10 player in baseball over the last 2 months. He's hitting 341 with 25 doubles, 16 home runs, and 15 stolen bases in 92 games. Ronald, I do want to mention, he stole his 68th bag in the 5th inning, so he's 1 home run and 2 stolen bases away from a 40-70 season. Matt Olson has 53 home runs. So many Braves hitters having just mind-melting, boggling seasons. That's 53 home runs and 132 RBIs for Matt Olson. Ozzie Albies, their second baseman, now has 32 home runs, 103 RBIs. He's the only second baseman ever to have 180 doubles and 130 home runs by age 26. Now, the crappy part is, Max Fried, I'm going to show his highlights. He shoved yesterday. So what's the issue? If he shoved for 7 strikeouts over 6 innings, why is that crappy? I don't know what happened. He is on the IL again because of this start, the 3rd time of 2023. This time he left with an index finger blister. Now, I don't know if he's going to just play it cool because they're already in the playoffs and this is going to be prep for the postseason, but Max Fried, yeah, the 3rd time he's been on the IL. So before we do today's Immaculate Grid, let me know in the comments, who do you think is going to win the AL East and the AL West? Is it going to be the Astros or the Mariners in the West? Is it going to be the Tampa Bay Rays coming back and beating up on the Orioles? What's going to happen? And then in the NL wildcard, the Padres have won 7 games in a row. They didn't play yesterday, but because the Giants and the Cubs lost, they gained a game, so they're 4 games back. Are the Padres going to pull a magical run and make the playoffs? Let me know. And then in the AL wildcard, it's the Mariners and the Rangers and the Jays, so it's craziness. All right, today's Immaculate Grid, what do we have? A red and a Yankee. Jay Bruce is just an easy Immaculate Grid guy for me. 3,000 base hits for the Yankees. You got Jeter. Who else do you have? I don't think that Babe Ruth ever got to 3,000. I'm going to skip that one because I want a low rarity score, but I'm pretty sure that Jeter, and there hasn't been a ton of guys. 200 strikeouts for the Yankees. I think CC did that. I know Gerrit Cole did that last year, I believe. I'm going to skip that one because, again, I do want a low rarity score. A red and a Guardian. Hopefully people forgot that Yasiel Puig played for the red. Okay, 9%. I'm under 10. 3,000 base hits for the Guardians. I could go with Manny never did that. I know that Nap Lajway did that, but I feel like a lot of people are going to choose him. I guess I'll come back to that one. A red and a Tiger. Tucker Barnhart played for both teams. A Tiger who had 3,000 base hits in his career. Ty Cobb, I know, had 3,000, but I feel like a lot of people are going to use him. 200 strikeout season for the Tigers. I'm going to go how... If I get this wrong, I'll be upset. Okay, 3%. I am really doing well with my rarity score. 3,000 strikeouts for the Guardians. I don't know if Larry Doby got to 3,000. There's Nap Lajway is in my... Eddie Murray. Eddie Murray. He played for Cleveland, I think, in the 90s or something like that. Eddie Murray. 46%. Okay, I'm not going to worry about rarity score anymore. 3,000 hits for the Tigers is Ty Cobb. That one's really easy. 3,000 hits. I'm going to just go Jeter at this point because my rarity score was cooked. 200 strikeout season for the Yankees. Let me think of someone random like Ron Guidry, Whitey Ford. Someone like Roger Clemens might have done that. 200 strikeout season for the Guardians. I'm going to go with the sneaky one. Let's see if I can pull one under 5%. Carlos Carrasco, 1%. And then a 200 strikeout season for the Yankees. I'm going to try and just name someone. David Cone. I don't know if David Cone did it. I don't know if Andy Pettitte did it. What about, I'm just going to go with CC. I really like CC. I'm almost positive that he had 200 strikeouts. And he did. 161, not good. That does it for today's MLB recap. I appreciate all of the support as of late. If you enjoyed, leave a like, click that subscribe button, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek and Underdog Fantasy, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.